Hi everyone, my name is Fabian Gomez. My partners are Kevin Sanchez and Daniel Diaz, and we are going to talking about Ivory Coast. Okay, their independence was August 7, 1960, and before of that was a colony in French. It's located in the west in Africa, and the capital of Ivory Coast is Yamoussoukro. They have 70 different language, and it's very common to see different language in different ethnic groups. So in different case, is very particular. It's not very common to see two or three language per group, but can be possible to find, but it's not very common to find this part in the different 70 language. The next piece. Okay, welcome to Ivory Coast. And the first one is the economy based on agriculture and export of foods such as cocoa and coffee. So thanks to that, the economy in Ivory Coast was very higher than whatever other era, and also is important the rubber. So thanks to that, try to understand French and learn French for the reason by different things, relation of the cocoa and coffee and rubber, buy or sell different things because when the European came to this country, tried to sell a lot, and for that reason, try to learn about French, and for that reason, the economy was higher. Second one, this African country has 24 million inhabitants. 70% of them can speak, read, and write in French. In this era, it's very common to see whatever person know French, like a C1 or C2 more or less. But in the last century, it's not common too much when the student leave the school, like a level one, B1, sorry, or B2. And the third one, the most spoken is Akan, which has 3.5 million speakers, especially in the southeast of the country. And it's a good number, but today it's less than the last century. It's not common to much see a person know the language, but can be possible to found this person. The next one, please. So, capital of Ivory Coast. This is a curious city because, like a small town, have 231,000 inhabitants. As I said before, each ethnic group has its own language. And the third one, the average number of the children per woman is 4.43. And take into account that the human or no, very the men of this country suffer AIDS is like a 7%, and for the reason Ivory Coast try to find the manner of the way to find a dissolution, and it's a dangerous things in this theory or in this country. So it's not normal to match this percentage, but try to find a dissolution in this situation. Okay, animals in Ivory Coast, you can see like hippos, monkeys, snake, panthers, whatever thing relation of that, very common to see whatever part of the Syria or whatever part in this country. But the most representative in this country is the elephant, for the reason called Ivory Coast for the frogs. Frogs is the meaning of the ivory. And today is a danger of extinction this animal and try to find solution. So it's a representative animal in this country. For the reason it's called Ivory Coast.
Okay, Danny, continue. Yes, thanks. Okay, so now I'm going to proceed with the next part of the job, which was what language do they use in Ivory Coast? The thing is that in Ivory Coast, the language that I tend to use is more specifically French. And French is their mother language. With mother language, I meant that they use French, they use this language for almost everything. They use French to talk to your friend, to your boss, etc. Basically. So the reason why they use French. Can you please go to the next one?
Uh,
The next one,
but
please.
yes, give me a second, Daniel.
Thanks. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the reason behind why do they use French as their mother language. Okay, so the first part will be that French was a language that that was brought by the colonialism in those ancient times of the colonies and long, long time ago, basically. So it was thanks to the colonials who brought French to Ivory Coast that the natives of that island of that place, I'm sorry, acquire that language was French. That's why they use French. Other reason why they use French is thanks to their education level, because in the schools of Ivory Coast, they tend to teach a lot of French, and when you graduate from that place, you have like a level C1 on French, making that the use of French is more common and more useful. Can you please, thanks. Okay, so on the last part, we're going to speak about Ivory Coast and their language. So basically, they use French for everything. If you want to buy something and you want to ask, the people from that place will ask you in French to have a conversation. If you want to talk to someone, they will speak to you in French because French is their mother language. It's the language they use for anything. They communicate with you and they will express their ideas. They will tell you jokes. They will tell you everything in French, basically.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. So, sociolinguistic variation. In the text, what does sociolinguistic study? There was an example of two different dialects that are spoken in a village in the northern of Norway. The first one was Ranamal, that is the local dialect, and the second one is the Bokmal, that is the standard dialect. Um, we are going why we do this example, because we are going to do a comparison. There in that text we saw in which different context Ranamal is used, and with other different contexts Bogmal is used. So we are going to see the same, but in the two most spoken language in Ivory Coast. The first one, the most common, the most popular, French, and the second one, Akan. So we are going to see the use of two distinct languages in different social contexts. So, different social contexts. The first one, it is the social context. The importance of the social context in determining which language is used. For example, French is used in formal and official settings, meanwhile Ranamal is Akan is employed in everyday interactions within the local community. The next one is factors influencing dialect choice. The choice between different dialects. Why the choice between different dialects? This may include the person is being addressed. For example, in strange or members of the local community. If you're going to talk about strange, you're going to talk in French. But if you are going to talk about with members of the local community, being a native, being a person that lives in In Ivory Coast, you are going to use a can. Also, the topic of discussion and the setting. The next one is language switching. Language switching, it means how the individual switch between language based on context. For example, I don't know, university students might or have to switch to French when they are discussing about national politics because it is a topic outside of the village. And also, it is associated with topics talking about the country, you know. Um, the next one is a linguistic neutrality. Okay, there is a linguistic variety, but neutrality. Why neutrality? It's a linguistic neutral because but neutrality. Why is a neutral variety? Because it is a linguistic neutral because it does not favor any particular dialect or language, but rather covers the various ways in which people use the language in various social contexts. It is no a variation talking about the time, but yes, it is a variation talking about the context. In which cases I am going to use French, in which cases we are going to use I can, why, how, and that's it. The next one is standardization. Why standardization? Standardized language are often used in formal contexts, including education, government, media, literature, and many other topics. Why it is a standardization? Because French it is a most popular language in the world, so it is a official writing language. Meanwhile, Akan is only a dialect or a language within a little village. So next, so formal or informal. As I said before, French is used in informal and official settings. Meanwhile, the Akan is used in everyday interactions within in the community because the speech partners and the identity of the community members. In a summary or in contracts, French, Akan, the local dialect, is used in everyday interactions within the local community. And meanwhile, the French is serves or works as a formal and standardized language in a very close. And finally, Akan is associated with the local, informal, and community-based interactions. So, thank you.
So our purpose of this activity is like a little competition with different groups. So we try to do different groups in the class and take into account our presentation, answer questions related of that. So maybe in what year was Ivory Coast founded? These options, but in the TV only see the colors and the one cell phone per group you can do or you can option to correct option or possibly a correct option, and this is our activity. Or the second one can be the second one, please. Yeah, in Ivory Coast is part of a French colony. It's like two or four. So the idea is that, and the group win this activity, or yeah, win this activity. The idea is give a candy or something like that related of this activity. So that's all for today, and this is our activity. Thanks.
So something to keep in account is that we don't found the way to switch the answer like a verdadero o falso in English for the reason it is in Spanish. But the other answers uh, are in English like this. So again, thank you. Bye bye, teacher.